Well then, hello everybody, welcome back to the AOR Hype Energy F3 League. This is on the PS4, you're watching Season 16, round number 2, which takes us to the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm very excited to be returning to the commentary box, however, without Evil again. Unfortunately, he is not able to join us again tonight, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, he'll get a new mic very soon. We want you back, Evil. I can't handle these streams on my own. Not that much. Need you back, Evil. Anyway, so this is Bahrain, and really should be a good race we have on our hands here. Obviously, I'll try and keep up with the chat. As you know, I will always try and do that. It's all about setting up the thumbnail, and it's now all about advertising myself on Twitter because, well, there's no other way to do it, is there? Welcome everybody to the stream. Good to have you on board, and this is the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below, and this is a perfect chance for me to try and get as much bandwidth as possible. So we shall hopefully do that right about now. Let's get a little bit more bandwidth when we're streaming, shall we? Obviously, you may have to drop down to 480p at some point. It should be okay. I've moved to a different place, and I have got a wired connection for this one, so hopefully we shouldn't have too many issues. But I am looking on the screen right now, and it's saying OK stream, which is not ideal. However, we are going to have to deal with it for now, I'm afraid. But you're joining me, Kieran. Glad to have you on board for F3. And Bahrain always provides some great racing in league racing, and I'm looking very much forward to giving you and providing you some great action in F3. We saw some great action last time out, and hopefully we should see the same again. It is currently 2 minutes past 8, so we are just waiting now for I think a couple of more drivers before we get started. However, I'm really looking forward to this one, second race in the AOR box, and hopefully we should have a much better stream than we did last time. I'm a little less nervous, not too less nervous, not too much, but yeah, hopefully I can beat away some of those nerves early on, and we shall have that in the bag. Obviously, do leave some comments down below if you're interested in asking anything. I will do my best to try and answer it, and yeah, hopefully this stream can go without a hitch. Obviously, last week we had a few problems across AOR actually related to internet, so I wasn't the only one. But this week we're looking for a much better end product, I hope. So let's hope we can get that anyway. Of course, you're watching F3 League of Hype Energy AOR, and it's good to have you on board. Let's talk a little bit about the track, shall we? It's a fantastic track, a flowing track, the first Grand Prix in 2004, debuting the 15 corners in the Sakir Desert. Herman Tilke had the entire desert to play with, and well, he used it well, didn't he? 2 DRS zones, I believe. I think, did they add a third one? I think they actually did add a third one between turns 13 and 14. Some of the maps on here are a little outdated, so I have to remember, is there a third DRS zone? And I believe there is, because Australia had 3, and I think Bahrain has 3 towards the back end of the circuit. As I said, on the exit of turn 13 towards turn 14 is the third DRS zone. We'll confirm that when we get to qualifying. Speaking of which, we're about to jump straight into it. Ignore me then, trying to talk all of this nonsense. Obviously 5.4 kilometres, 2004 we debuted here, and on that day it was dominated by 2 Ferraris, with Michael Schumacher winning in front of Rubens Barrichello, whilst towards the back of the field Mark Webber in the Jaguar was fighting along with the Renault of Fernando Alonso all those years ago. Great racing under the floodlights here, the first night race debuting in 2014, and it added to the racing quite a lot, I think, especially that 2014 race where we saw the duel between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in one of the best races Bahrain, for me, has ever hosted in real Formula 1. which was absolutely fantastic to see, fantastic to watch, and you know, hopefully we'll get some of that racing tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do. This is where I have to share the whole thing on Twitter. However, we are going to jump into the qualifying session. And of course, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try and answer them in good time. Yeah, as a driver you get pre-race nerves. As a commentator, that's exactly the same. My hand is shaking. That is weird. I don't normally get that, but oh well. If I press the wrong button, now you know why. Let's get some of our details up then, shall we? Let's have a look. Lakitu has a qualifying ban carrying over from the last race weekend. So let's have a look at who else is out onto the track. We got Solid Ninja Snake then making his way out onto the track. And well, let's have a look then as we head towards turn 4. Very flowing circuit, this one. Plenty of DRS zones and plenty of overtaking opportunities. We've seen it before and we'll see it again. Cars going 3 wide towards turns 1, 2 and 3. It's bound to happen this race at least once. So who will it be? Who will the 3 drivers involved be? I'm not too sure. But we will get qualifying underway with 16 drivers here in F3. And this is always a tricky section here, coming into turn 10. We're riding on board with Solid Ninja Snake. Turn 10 is always very difficult, having to go in there. It's almost like you're having to brake and turn at the same time, which you're taught when you're very young not to do. But you have to do it. You have to do a little bit of trail braking to make that corner, but it's very difficult not to lock up the brakes there. We've seen plenty of drivers in the past there, including the likes of Michael Schumacher, get it wrong in his Mercedes going through turn 10. So it can happen literally to the best of us. But then we come to towards the end of sector 2 and the end of sector 3. First snake of the night. Let's see how many more I can make. Here we go then, through the DRS zone. We're riding on board with Solid Ninja Snake then, as he rides towards turns 1, 2 and 3. Full throttle then. You are for around about 63% of the lap here in Sakir, as we brake for turn 1. A little bit of a lock up there from Solid Ninja Snake. Got to get that exit absolutely spot on there. A little bit of a wheel spin as he came off the line for turn 2. Always very easy to do as we head towards turn 4 now. Up the hill, turn in, make sure you're not too greedy with the curb, and make sure you're not too greedy on the exit. Now through turns 5 and then through 6. And then downhill through 7, lovely section this if you've got enough downforce, and then into the braking zone of turn 8, almost like a hairpin, the right-hander. Up the hill we go now towards turn number 9, and then like I said before, this tricky braking zone of turn 10, almost have to trail brake, and you can see Solid Ninja Snake locking up there as he headed towards turn 10 into the second DRS zone of the lap then, as we fly down towards turn 11. Easy to get this wrong if you're too greedy on the curb on the inside and on the outside. Those curbs are very slippery, especially in the first half of the session. Here we go then, flying through turn 12 here as we head towards turn 13. And as you can see, too greedy on the left-hand side of the curb there, and you risk falling off the track. But as we now come down the hill, we go up it, then down it, then up it slightly again as we head towards turn 14, and then through the slight kink of turn 15. But this is Solid Ninja Snake then making his way towards the line, and the first lap of the session is a 128.0 from Solid Ninja Snake, instantly beaten by Shawnee B, who sets a 126.9. And Demon there, 126.4. The lap times are falling as Sergey there sets a 127.1. As they're all coming across the line now. Elite Game Boy at 127.138, exactly the same time as Sergey. Now there's something you don't see too often. Two drivers with exactly the same lap time, but because Elite Game Boy set it later on than Sergey. He is behind him for now. Still plenty of the session left though, around about 13 minutes still to go. The Roadhouse then, yellow flags in sector 1, that will probably be drivers getting out of the way. We see the other McLaren flying towards the last corner. The OG at 126.7, which puts him into second place. Here comes the Roadhouse then, the Mighty Bucket on a set of medium tyres. So it's a 128.8. The Roadhouse then comes across the line. It's a 127.4, and it puts him up into P7, instantly beaten by Chrome Nexus, who puts himself up into P6, 127.3. We've got Viper here heading towards the line then, and he sets a 133.0, so he must have made a mistake on his lap then. So it's interesting to see whether he'll be able to continue on for another lap. We've got Dan the Snake there out on a lap. Let's have a look at Alex Musica, who starts a flying lap. And Dan the Snake then is on a flying lap right now. He's heading towards turn 13 on the exit there. There's Sergey, who gets out of his way. And heading down the hill and then slightly up it as you head towards the braking zone. You're using all that track there and more down the Snake. Completely within the rules though. Add 2 wheels on that black tarmac. That's all that matters. And here comes down the Snake then towards the line. He backs out of it. Goes P6. With a 127.3, so he backed out of that lap. So I wonder why that was then. Well, maybe he realised he didn't want to qualify on those tyres and has set the benchmark for himself. Either way though, he lies 6th in the table. And Alex Musica now on a flying lap. He's in the second DRS zone as we head towards turn 11. Flying through and up the hill now as we head through turn 12, and then flying up the hill towards turn 13 with Alex Musica in the Williams. You've got to get that exit absolutely spot on as we fly up the hill and then once again down it. 11 minutes to go in this session as we head towards the final 2 corners, turns 14 and 15. That slight kink, well, it counts as a corner by the FIA, so we have to call it one. And Alex Musica heads towards the line. It's a 126.6 from Alex Musica, and he puts himself up into P2. Jamie James here. He's currently in sector 1, and he's flying through turn 4 there. This is what I was talking about with being greedy on the curbs here. How greedy is Jamie James then as he heads flying through turn 7 there as we head towards turn 8. Not very greedy, have to say. But he'll try and get out of that hairpin then into turn 9, into the braking zone of turn 10. You can be forgiven for taking it easy on your first flying lap through turn 10, but you've got to really attack it when it comes towards your flying lap and the race later on. Here we go then, flying towards turn 11. Don't get greedy on the outside curb, you risk losing the back end. Heading up the hill towards turn 12. And then up towards turn 13 again. Don't get greedy with the curb here, it will punish you if you do. We're heading up the hill then with Jamie James. And down the hill once again. Braking hard for the last 2 corners. And what sort of lap time can Jamie James set on the board as he heads towards the line? It's a 126.3 and he goes top of the table. So at the moment then, Jamie James is on top, a 126.3. Demon is in second with a 126.4. Alex Musica is in third place on a 126.6. Then it's the OG, Viper, Shawnee B, Sergey, Game Boy, Dan the Snake, Crow Nexus, the Roadhouse, Mighty Bucket and Solid Ninja Snake. Griggs and Pitmat yet to set a lap time in this qualifying session. So there's Solid Ninja Snake then, making his way onto a lap. And he's flying down the start-finish straight then to start a new flying lap. We rode on board with him for the first flying lap. But there is Demon there. I believe he's on an outlap, and he is with that 4-minute lap time at the moment. Would probably suggest that he's on an outlap as we head towards the final few corners. As we head towards the line. What can Demon do then? He'll want that top spot back, but can he get it back? We fly now down towards turn 1. Such a long straight here promotes that overtaking as we fly towards turn 1. Little bit of lock up from Demon then as he heads towards turn 2 and then through turn 3. Again, easy to get greedy with the curbs going through turns 2 and 3. As Alex Musica then is probably going to go out on a set of soft tyres. Let's have a look at the best lap times then. This will show us who is on what tyre for the race as it stands. Everyone in the top 10 is on a set of super soft tyres, with Mighty Bucket there trying a lap on the mediums, but unfortunately he's just a couple of tenths off. It's around about 6 tenths off 10th place there, so if he puts on a set of soft tyres or maybe even super softs, he'll find himself up the field later on in the session. Meanwhile then, we'll go back to the current set of tyres as Demon now heads his way down the second DRS straight, using that track on the right hand side there to full advantage to try and maximise the turn in then as we fly up the hill to through turn 12, and then we're coming towards turn 13. And then it's up the hill slightly, then it's down the hill towards turn 14. And at this track you are full throttle, like I said, for around about 64% of the lap. We haven't really discussed ERS, but we will do once Demon sets a lap time, and it's a 126.1, smashes his old lap time there. And could we see a 125 in this session? I'd put money on it, that's for sure. So Demon then topping the table, 126.1. Great lap time from him. Looking at fuel consumption, it's one of the highest demanding tracks on fuel. About 1.8 kilos per lap is used, so fuel management will come into play later on in the race. And in terms of ERS, well, if you're lucky, you can make the ERS last without having to make major adjustments to it. You can get away with medium and low for most of the race, but you will have to manage it at some point. Around about a medium usage. Not the most demanding on the ERS, however, you can afford to save a little bit of that ERS around the track. But there are some high acceleration points, a lot of hairpins where you need that ERS for. Let's run on board with another driver then, preferably one on a flying lap. Alex Musica has decided to take some soft tyres. Maybe he thinks he can go quicker on a set of soft tyres. If he can go quicker than a 126.652, then he will be starting on those tyres. When you're looking for the race then, a one-stop is in the question if you start on a set of soft tyres, because then you can transition to the mediums around about 15 laps in, I'm thinking, coming to knowledge. But if you start on the super soft tyres around about 5 or 6 laps in, you will start to see extreme wear on those tyres, and one stop can be dangerous here, but it can pay off if the F1 gods are on your side. But we're seeing Alex Music here fly through turn 10 then as we head into the DRS zone, running on board with him right now. And there he goes, he opens that DRS then, and using that right hand side of the track there. We'll see if the game invalidates his lap for that one, but he did keep 2 wheels on the tarmac, so it shouldn't have invalidated it as we fly now through turn 13. Don't get too greedy on those curbs, it can come back to bite you. We've got the OG here flying around the final corner, so we'll ride on board with him as he heads towards the line, and we won't ride on board with him because he's heading towards the pits. Here comes Alex Musica, but no, he's heading towards the pits too. So we'll ride on board with Shawnee B instead, who is on an outlap right now, I believe. Well, he's got fitted tyres on, and they've done a lap, so he's already done a lap on those tyres, so he might be coming back to the pits then. The Mighty Bucket has gone out on a set of soft tyres, so he's already qualified on a set of medium tyres. Now he's decided to go for a set of soft tyres. But of course, if he's only brought those medium tyres with him, loses the back end majorly there through the last corner. That won't help his rear tyres at all. And he's now flying down towards the final 2 corners of turns 14 and 15. Keep the car well balanced as you find your way through. And now heading towards the line, and he'll head towards the pits. The Roadhouse here then. Also coming back to the pits. They're all coming back to the pits. I'm just catching these guys at the wrong time. But Viper here, coming up the hill. He's on his way back to the pits as well. We've got Jamie James coming in. Roadhouse is also in the pits. So not a lot happening at the moment. Everyone's heading back to the pit lane for what I'm assuming will be their third and final run for most of them. So as it stands at the moment, Demon is on provisional pole, Jammy James in second, OG in third, Alex Musica in fourth, Crow Nexus fifth, Shawnee B is in sixth. We've got Viper in 7th, Elite Game Boy 8th, Sergey in 9th, Roadhouse 10th, Solid Ninja Snake 11th, Dan the Snake 12th, Mighty Bucket in 13th. Lakitu there has a qualifying ban, but he's currently P14 because Griggs and Pitmat have not set a time just yet. They're leaving it late though for their lap, but as the session goes on though, it can be beneficial to leave it as late as possible. There's Sergey there, as he was rounding turn 4. I believe he is on a flying lap, and we could probably see that through the telemetry, and he is. Hot lap mode there for his ERS, and there's a Williams there taking the racing line, and will he move out of the way? Yes, he will. So we fly towards turns 9 and turn 10 there, braking hard. You've just got to be careful there. Hot lap mode for most of this lap now. DRS wide open as we head flying towards turn 11. Using all that track on the right hand side there as we fly up the hill once again. Can Sergey better his lap time here? As you can see, most of the guys out on super soft tyres, apart from Pitmat, who's gone out on a set of soft tyres. So Sergey here flying down the hill now towards turn 14. And what sort of lap time can he set then? Braking hard for the final 2 corners, chucking that car in and hoping it sticks as he flies towards the line now. What lap time can he set? It will be a 26.9, so he's slower than his previous lap. Or will he get another chance to have another go? It looks like it. We've got Elite Game Boy out on track at the moment, and Sergey's retired from the session, so he's not going to have another go. The OG then is out on a lap. Demon is also on a flying lap. So he's heading down the start finish straight. That's 2 mistakes this stream. Someone get a mistakes count going in this stream. I'd love to know by the end of it. Flying up the hill then towards 11 and then through 12 as we then head towards turn 13, entering sector 3 there. And can Demon better his lap time? He's got competition from Jammy James, the OG, Alex Musica, Crow Nexus, Shawnee B, Viper, Elite Game Boy, who are all within the 126s, Roadhouse as well. It's not part and parcel who's going to grab pole position here, unless Demon can get into the 125s. He can't, but I tell you what, it's gone 200ths quicker. 126.153, new time to beat. And that might be Demon calling it a day. He won't get another lap in. Here comes Jammy James. It's a 126.318. Oh, but of course that was the out lap. That's why that showed up like that. The OG then starting his flying lap. Is he? No, he's not. He's pulled to the side, and that will be him retiring from the session then. So he did a 126.5, I believe there. Whatever lap time he set, it unfortunately wasn't enough to help him up the field. We've got Jammy James on a lap. Alex Musica flying towards the line then to start his flying lap. Crow Nexus, is he coming towards the end of a lap? Yes, he is. So we'll ride on board with him as he heads towards the final 2 corners. 20 seconds left of the session. So as Crow Nexus then flies towards that start-finish line, DRS wide open. Where can he go? Here goes P4, 126.6. So Alex Musica there has a little bit of work to do. Dan the Snake, meanwhile, P3, 126.4. Good lap from him and the Toro Rosso driver. We've got Jammy James here. Checkered flag is out. And where can Jammy James put himself then? Coming down towards the final few corners. There's Alex Musica. Keep an eye on him as he heads towards turn 9. Here comes Jammy James though, flying through, and that ERS has stayed in mode 3, and he's abandoned his lap, has he? No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. But it's 1.8 off. So whatever the reason for that one, he did not make it count that lap. Viper meanwhile, P5 for Viper, 126.5. Elite Game Boy then, rounding the final corner. Where can the Red Bull driver put himself? Mighty Bucket up to P4. Great lap from him. Elite Game Boy can't improve and will stay P10. We've got Alex Musica on a lap as well. We've got Griggs, who has come in towards the line. He starts P5 for now. So the last driver to set a lap would have been Alex Musica, but he's come into the pits. So down the snake then is on an in lap. So that is that's your qualifying. Done and dusted. Demon will take pole position. Jamie James will lock out the front row. Down the snake in third. Mighty Bucket fourth. Griggs is in fifth. OG in sixth. Viper in seventh. Crow Nexus in eighth. Alex Musica in ninth. Elite Game Boy in... Oh, Shawnee B, sorry, in 10th. Elite Game Boy 11th. Roadhouse in 12th. Sergey in 13th. Solid Ninja Snake in 14th. Pit Matt on those soft tyres set a 127.4. And he'll start from P15. Lakito with a qualifying ban, that's why he is down the field there in P16. Well, a lot to talk about then. Where do the guys outside the top 10, what do they do in terms of strategy? And do they go for that coveted one stop? Do they start on the mediums, go on to the softs, or the other way around? Let us know who you're supporting tonight. Who are your colours out for? Love to know. As we head now towards the results screen. Just wait for everything to confirm and everyone to move on. And whilst we're waiting for this screen then, we've got a lot of support for Sergey, Viper, Down the Snake, Griggs. Great to see you guys coming out today supporting your favourite drivers. In the meantime though, qualifying, Demon takes pole position, Jamie James in second, Down the Snake in third, Mighty Bucket fourth, Griggs is in fifth, the OG in sixth, Viper in seventh, Crow Nexus 8th, Musica in ninth, Shawnee B in 10th, Elite Game Boy 11th, Roadhouse is in 12th, Sergey 13th, Solid Ninja Snake in 14th, Pit Matt in 15th, Lakitu will be starting from the back of the grid. Griggs for the win, says Sky. Meanwhile, Dominic saying, come on James. As well as that, Hasnain saying Nexus for the win. Well, it's all to play for when we get to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's see your top three then for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And if you're watching this stream back at a later date, no skipping forward, that's cheating. As we head towards the Bahrain Grand Prix, let us know your top three. Who do you think will come away with that coveted podium 2 rounds into the new season? It's still all to play for. Will we have a dramatic first corner like we had last time out? We'll have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to this one. This is the time where all the drivers decide their strategy, how much fuel they're going to carry, what tyres they're going to start on if you're starting outside the top 10. And real nerves as we head towards turn 1. Probably one of the most difficult turn 1s to accommodate for, especially on the first lap. It's a hairpin, then it's a fast left-right. So it's going to be interesting. Would you take the inside line? You'll be on the outside, but then the inside for turn 4. Well, all will be revealed when we come towards the race tonight. Hopefully you've seen at least some of the action from the PS4 F1 League. Some great wheel-to-wheel racing going on there. It's absolutely fantastic to watch. And we were also treated to the Japanese Grand Prix as well. So it's been a whole day of motorsport today. And if you're rounding it out with me tonight, I salute you. This one is going to be an amazing one. I can already tell. Bahrain is always one of those tracks in league racing that provides some great entertainment. And tonight, I would think, would not disappoint. So as you can see, the top 10 starting on the tyres they qualified on. We've got Elite Game Boy here in 11th place, starting on soft tyres. Roadhouse and Sergey following suit. Solid Ninja Snake is going for the long game. He's going on the medium tyres. Pit Matt on the soft tyres. Lakitu in 16th on the soft tyres as well. And Igo Champ, who missed qualifying, will start from the back of the grid. He's put on a set of medium tyres. So as Demon then heads around turn 9 and turn 10, probably trying to get that braking point absolutely right. You want those brakes fully warmed up by the end of your lap, especially when you're flying towards turn 1. Don't be afraid and don't be scared to see 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide as we head towards turn 1. I'm not saying 4 wide would work, in fact I'm saying it wouldn't work. However, we shouldn't rule out seeing it, especially with a field that's as bunched up as this. I believe the top 10 was separated by just over half a second, which is absolutely incredible to see. So multiple drivers then will be going for the win. And like I said before, top 3, maybe even a win today. Let's see who you're voting for. Let's see who you're supporting. Keep an eye out for your driver of the day as well. I want to find out who you guys are watching, and hopefully we'll get some sort of tally by the end. But thank you for choosing F3, the AOR Hype Series, Formula 3. Great to see you all here tonight. And this should be an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix. So as we head towards the line then with Demon all the way in first place, we're just waiting on the rest of the field to bunch up and get to their grid spots then. We're ready and waiting then for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So the cars are revving. Lights aren't on yet. Here they come. We've got 5 red lights. Round 2 is underway, and what the start site looks like down the snake. They didn't get a great start. Mighty Bucket is going to take advantage here. The Ferrari of Jamie James tries to cut off the Red Bull of the Mighty Bucket behind them. Here they come into turn 1. Demon then takes the lead. Jamie James just about hits ahead of the Mighty Bucket. Griggs is in 4th place there, but he's under pressure from Dan the Snake now. Dan the Snake has dropped down to 5th place now as we head towards turn 4. There's a Renault there trying to have a look. That's the OG who's trying to have a look as well. That is Jamie Griggs there trying to go up the inside of Dan the Snake, and has he made it work? Makes it work as they head towards turn 5 now. Yes, he has. Dan the Snake has to back out of that move, and that's going to open up an opportunity for the OG. Yes, it is. Dan the Snake is falling down the field. The OG then trying to go around the outside as we head towards turn 8. But he hasn't got the traction, has he? As we head towards turn 9, very difficult braking zone here. As the OG got the position, no, he has to back out of it. Griggs with a massive lock-up up ahead. Always difficult that turn 10. And you've got to keep your concentration though. Demon leads the way. Jamie James 2nd. Mighty Bucket 3rd. Griggs in 4th. Dan the Snake 5th. 6th is the OG. Cronex is 7th. And we've got battling Williams behind us of Musica and Shawnee B. But Alexis holding his ground right now. And still that Williams of Shawnee B trying to go around the outside there. And there's a little bit of contact. But Shawnee B tries to go up the inside. And Alex Musica is run off the track by Shawnee B. He won't be too impressed with his teammate there, but he's got to keep focused. He's fallen behind Pitmat, and Pitmat with a fantastic start then. He's up to P10. Remember, he's on the soft tyres in this one, and he's right behind Pfeiffer then. Obviously, first lap of the race complete, and Demon will have the fastest lap. We're going to ride on board with Griggs then, because he's only 2 tenths behind the Red Bull of the Mighty Bucket. He's going to have a move up into turn 1, locks up there. As he tries to follow his way through, the Mighty Bucket, they will hold on to that last podium position for now. We've got drama behind us then. That's Shawnee B and Viper trying to go side by side there. Hasn't quite worked, but Viper here is on the defence now. Here comes Shawnee B up into turn 4, I should say. Up the inside, loses that back end slightly. Meanwhile, Pitmat is under pressure from Alex Musica, and Alex Musica is into the wall. His tyres come out. First retirement of the race is Alex Musica. Just lost the back end there. Coming out of turn 4, got a bit too greedy on the curbs, and he's out of the race. Well, Demon then, still leading the way then. Top 9, still on those super soft tyres. And there's Elite Game Boy, who's 3 tenths behind the car in front. The car in front being Pitmat. As we head flying towards turn 11 here, you can see most of the drivers now using that outside curb to maximise their turning, and you know what, that's not a bad idea either. If you're not punished for it, well, why aren't you using it? That's your job as a race driver, to exploit those loopholes. If you're not trying to find the track limits and not getting punished for them, well, you could get away with it. That's exactly what they're doing. That's what their qualifying was for. They practiced all week trying to find where you can put those 2 wheels and how far you can get those 2 wheels outside the track though. DRS enable then. We are on lap 3. And we're seeing the McLaren here of Roadhouse closing in on his teammate Ninja Snake. Is he going to try and move up the inside? Bit of a lock up. But not quite. Team orders, well, they're a bit controversial to say recently. They're a little bit of a buzzword. However, when it's this early in the season, I doubt there's going to be team orders, but if you're on different strategies, then it might be worth giving that a consideration. Meanwhile then, we're riding aboard with Shawnee B as he's trying to chase Viper. Gap is 8 tenths of a second, but he's got to watch out from Pitmat behind him. The Mercedes looks up for a battle. And if we have a look at the position changes, you can see Pitmat is up 5 places. He's the biggest winner in this. Roadhouse biggest loser, down 3 places. Still a lot of the race to go though, as Pitmat looks to make that 6 positions up as he heads down this DRS straight now. And we're going to have a look at Pitmat here as he's heading towards turn 11. Sean just defending for now. Knows he's in DRS range. Meanwhile, Pitmat's teammate Crow Nexus is closing in on the OG. And he is a little bit onto the curb there, but nothing much doing. Griggs, meanwhile, in the Ferrari, closing in on the Mighty Bucket. And has he got that turn absolutely right? Yes, he has, because the Mighty Bucket's lost the back end very slightly. And the Mighty Bucket's in on lap 4. Very early stop then from the Mighty Bucket. That could be a change onto some medium tyres. I'll have to see what he rejoins on. So Griggs makes that position up. Meanwhile, the OG is trying to have a move on down the snake. He went round the outside, trying to go for the cutback and a better line through turns 2 and 3. Now, has that worked? Down the snake there, trying to defend all he can. Here comes the OG round the outside, going towards turn 4. Down the snake leaves him the room, but the OG couldn't try and find a way around. And he's going to be behind him now through this X section of turns 5, 6 and 7. And as you can see, looks like Down the Snake might be struggling a little bit with tyre wear at this point. They'll last about 5 or 6 laps, so still should be a little bit of life in the tyres, but not much more than there is right now. Crow Nexus, meanwhile, is watching this battle with intent. Locked up a little bit there. The back end tried to snap on him. A little bit of rear brake bias then. Probably needs to move that forward slightly as he heads towards turn 10. But now heading towards turn 11 then. Up the hill we go then towards turn 12. One retirement so far, and that was Alex Musica dropping it on the curbs at turn 4. The OG, meanwhile, will focus on this battle for P4. Up the hill we go, then down it towards turn 14 and turn 15. And the Renault here has got to be careful. Although he's closing in on Down the Snake, he's got to be careful from Crow Nexus behind him. Demon setting fastest lap after fastest lap, but I'll tell you what, Jamie James isn't too far behind. He's pretty much matching him for pace, only a second behind. But here comes Crow Nexus though. Is this going to be the 3 wide move we're seeing? Here comes the OG down the inside of Down the Snake into turn 1. Little bit of contact made. And Down the Snake there is trying to stick it up the inside once again, but the OG has lost the back end on the curb on the exit of turn 2. And that's going to bring Down the Snake back into play as we head towards turn 4. Will he try and move down the inside? No, he won't. And the OG then takes P4 away from Down the Snake. And now he's got to be careful here, Down the Snake. He lost those positions at the start, gained 1 back into P4. But with his tyre wear, he's got to be careful from Crow Nexus, who's having a look down the inside of turn 8, but had to back out of it. Bit of a half-hearted attempt there at making a move, and it's cost him a little bit of time there, as we're riding on board still with Down the Snake. DRS zone. He will have DRS on the OG, though. That's the important thing for Down the Snake. And as we head towards turn 11, a little bit of battling behind as well. We've got to watch out for that. And they're all, look at this, they're all single file at the moment. Down the Snake there has formed a little bit of a queue from P5 all the way down to P12. Pitmat here is trying to go down the inside of Shawnee B. Oh, he's around! And that was never going to work. Down the inside of turn 12, or 13, sorry. And they lock wheels, and Pitmat's paid the price. A little bit too aggressive there. Meanwhile, though, we're seeing Elite Game Boy getting past Sergey there. And that was on the inside of turn 14, I believe. But Sergey's not done here with the DRS. Lower drag setup. Are we going to see 3Y? We might do behind them. But Sergey holds on for now. Well, that's Viper going very deep into turn 1 there. As we see there, Shawnee B down to P10. After that one, Lakitu, who started from the back of the grid, is up into P11. And this is a lovely camera angle here. Oh, that's a little bit of contact there. As Shawnee B was not willing to give up that move. As Lakitu stays behind him for now. As we fly through now. Shawnee B on those super soft tyres against Lakitu on the soft tyres. Here comes Lakitu down the inside into turn 8 and they make contact again. But Shawnee B is pushed to the outside of the track and Lakitu lets him back through. But he's got to be careful because that's the McLaren of the Roadhouse up the inside. Opportunistic move there. And Lakitu's lost out big time. But here they come down the back straight then. have a look on board for any other battles. Well, look at this then, the battle between the Haas's. Yes, you heard that right. As we head up the hill towards turn 12. And then towards turn 13. Got to look out for those DRS battles now. And a little bit hesitant there, Viper. Here comes Sergey down the inside of his teammate. Keep it clean, guys. As we head towards turn 14, and they do keep it clean. And I don't think Viper made that too difficult for his teammate. Jamie James is into the pits. And that is Chrome Nexus there, who's having to defend a little bit from the DRS there. He doesn't have it himself, and Dan the Snake does. So that's crucial then, as Elite Game Boy here right on the back of Viper here, putting him under a little bit of pressure there. Jamie James rejoins on a set of soft tyres. So that looks like he's confirmed for a 2-stop. Here comes Elite Game Boy there. Does he try the move? No, he doesn't. Meanwhile, Roadhouse is battling away with Sean as we head towards turn 4. Sean's around the outside. Roadhouse tries to take that curb on the inside, but again, you can be too greedy on that curb and it costs you time. And Lakitu, right behind them, is looking to try and find a way back past the Roadhouse. And he'll take any opportunity he can get. Like the move down the inside of turn 8. And Lakitu makes that move brilliantly. That seems to be his corner. As we head towards turn 9 now, defending hard. And Roadhouse realises you can't go down the inside of turn 9. That just doesn't happen. And on the exit there, Lakitu starts to get away. They will both have DRS. And this is Lakitu's chance to try and close in on the Roadhouse. Meanwhile, Elite Game Boy here, as we head up the hill, is closing in on Viper. And Sergey is closing in on Dan the Snake. So many battles up and down the field on lap 7 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Sergey, though, has got a great exit here. Here he comes. Can he try and make a move down the inside of Dan the Snake? This is for P5. Down the inside of turn 14. Dan the Snake doesn't really put up much of a fight there. And it looks like, is he going to come into the pits? Yes, that's Chrome Nexus ahead of him as well, coming into the pits. And that's Griggs as well into the pits. So they've done 7 laps on their super soft tyres. Demon stays out, though. So he'll have done 8 laps on those tyres. Meanwhile, though, Elite Game Boy has made a move on Viper then. Down the inside of turn 1. Got the move done. Igo Champ closing in on Solid Ninja Snake. Now remember, Igo Champ started on those medium tyres. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3, and that's Jamie James is out. Jamie James is out of the race. Now where is he gone? Jamie James, I couldn't see him. So, well, Jamie James is out of the race, and he was going for that 2-stop strategy, it seemed. But it's all up in smoke now. Jamie James is out of the race, becomes our 2nd retirement from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Lakitu here under a bit of pressure from the Roadhouse here as we head towards turn 9. Roadhouse had a look up the inside. Maybe a little bit of pressure on Lakitu. Put him under that pressure there. Might make a mistake. And Roadhouse here just right behind Lakitu. Lakitu trying to close in on Shawnee B. But he can't quite do it. Meanwhile, Igo Champ is closing in on Solid Ninja Snake. And up the hill they go. Towards turn 13. Right behind him he is, trying to clip that inside curb. And we've got to watch out here for Roadhouse and Lakitu as well. Will Roadhouse have a move up the inside? No, he won't. So what about this battle between Solid Ninja Snake and Igo Champ? Again, nothing doing between the two of them. Viper comes into the pits. Shawnee B stays out. Demon is also into the pits then. And he puts on a set of medium tyres. So he's going for the 1-stop. Meanwhile, though, we've got a battle behind, though. That's Roadhouse there. Is that trying to go up the inside of Lakitu? Didn't quite make it work, though. The thing is, the more these guys battle, the worse their tyres are going to get and the more time they're going to lose. Igo Champ, though, meanwhile, is past. Well, he's not quite past Solid Ninja Snake, is he? Because the Ninja Snake is having another move. Is he going to try around the outside of turn 4? No, he doesn't. Igo Champ up a position then as we head through this twisty section of 5, 6, 7. And Igo Champ has made the move stick then. Lakitu, meanwhile, couldn't have a look up the inside of turn 8 there. His usual battleground for overtakes. But just putting Shawnee B under that pressure then. Shawnee B locking up, though, as we head into turn 10. A little bit of pressure showing, a little bit of wear showing on those tyres as well. Warning signs for Lakitu that move might be coming. Well, the Mighty Bucket is right on the back of Demon here. But Demon is now up to P10 on those medium tyres. And he's got a bit of air. A clean air, I should say, which is important for his tyres and for his fuel consumption. So that's good news for him. But what does the OG do? Well, the OG at the moment is fighting with Sergey as they head towards turn 14. The OG, though, handling the pressure okay for now, but he's going to come into the pits then. So off he goes into the pit lane. So Sergey takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, but he hasn't stopped yet, as we see multiple drivers come into the pits now. That is the OG. We know the OG came in. Shawnee B came in. 9 laps on those super soft tyres. You might expect them to go onto a set of medium tyres. Here comes Lakitu trying to go down the inside of turn 1. That means the Roadhouse will have the inside for turn 2, but Lakitu will have the inside for turn 4 as they now head up the hill now. Who has the lower drag as they head up the hill? Looks like Roadhouse for now. Lakitu might be later on the brakes, and he is. Roadhouse will try the cutback though, but it doesn't quite work because of the nature of the track. Down towards 5, 6 and 7. Has to stay behind for now, but he could try Lakitu's move on Lakitu and try and move up the inside of turn 8. He thought about it, but no, stays behind for now. Probably waiting for that DRS zone after turn 10. But Roadhouse loses a position to Lakitu, and Lakitu, who's my correction from earlier, didn't start from the back of the grid. He started from P16. Nevertheless, though, to find himself in P3 at the moment, still yet to stop. A little bit of mistake there from Solid Ninja Snake behind there. Maybe just chose the wrong gear. Down the Snake, meanwhile. Trying to find a way past the OG. And a little bit of locking up there. And you can see there. Dan the Snake is trying to push now. Here he is on board. We're going to see. Is this going to be an overtake on the OG then? As we head towards turn number 11. And it is. Up the inside he goes. And down the Snake. Up a position then. Into P12. Of course, a lot of the drivers ahead have to stop, including the likes of Sergey, Game Boy, Lakitu, Roadhouse, Igo Champ, Pitmat, Solid Ninja Snake, and the Mighty Bucket all still have to stop. But here comes the Roadhouse on Lakitu. Meanwhile, behind them, Pitmat is trying to make a move on Igo Champ, and Pitmat there getting the move done with the DRS. And the Roadhouse there is back in front of Lakitu, using the DRS as well. So Lakitu there seems to be running a higher drag setup for the corners. Meanwhile, down the Snake is under pressure from the OG with DRS, and all that hard work from Dan the Snake has gone up in smoke as the OG locks up in front of him. So he's just got to try again, keep his head down, and try and open up that gap. And he might do it sooner rather than later here. Will he try up the inside of turn 4? No, not quite. He focuses on the exit though. And, he's lost that back end. So easy to do out of the exit of turn 4. And it's lost him a bit of time there. Pit map, meanwhile, we're going to ride on board with as we head down the back straight towards turn 11. Will he try and move down the inside? Pit Matt's thinking about it. Putting that pressure on Lakitu. And you can see Lakitu's run a little bit wide. Maybe a little bit wider than he'd want. And Pit Matt has more grip. You can see that. Will he try and move down the inside? Yes, he will. Oh, that was a little bit of a half-hearted attempt. I think the cinematic camera made that look more dramatic than it actually was. But as we head now down the straight towards turn 14, this could be a chance here for Pit Matt. Down the inside of turn 14. And a little bit of contact made there. Did Lakitu turn in? Did Pit Matt make the move wrong? Either way, though, Pit Matt is through. And Lakitu takes the opportunity to pit in. As does the Roadhouse. So those two are inseparable at the moment on track. Pit Matt then up into P3. Igo Champ in P4. Remember, he started from the back of the grid. Oh, he locks up into turn 1. That's not going to do his tyres any good whatsoever. Demon, meanwhile, fighting away with the Mighty Bucket, using a bit of racecraft here. He is the leading person who has stopped, and you can see the lack of grip that the Mighty Bucket has. Coming towards turn 4, round the outside. Will Demon go? No, he won't. Locks up, but lets the Mighty Bucket run too deep, and they're going to run side by side through 5, 6 and 7. Surely not. No, Demon backs out of it. Knows that's not worth the risk. And will he try and move up the inside of turn 8? No, he won't. So he is waiting for that DRS zone now. There's not a real overtaking opportunity as he head through turns 9 and 10. Shawnee B is past the Roadhouse there. And the Mighty Bucket locks up. That's the opportunity that Demon needs as he optimises that exit with the DRS. And just like that, the Toro Rosso is through. And the Mighty Bucket down a position to P7. I've hardly had an opportunity to catch my breath at the moment. Igo Champ here, 7/10 behind Pit Matt. Mighty Bucket won't be letting Demon go too far away. As long as he can stay within a second of Demon, he might have a chance of getting back past him. But as you can see, the gap is now 0.8 of a second, but the DRS detection point is there. That's the line there, and it was 0.8. So he's going to get DRS down the straight then. Pit Matt pits in. Try saying that 3 times. As well as Sergey and Elite Game Boy. So they were on the soft tyres. So they're one of the last of the soft runners to come in. And you can see there, Pitmat, I believe, is on his... Oh, sorry, the Mighty Bucket is on that two-stop strategy, you'd have to assume. There is the Haas of Sergey coming out of the pits. He rejoins in P5. And he's around about 6 seconds away from Demon there, so he's got a bit of ground to make up. Here comes Sergey, though, down the inside of Crow Nexus. And he makes that move stick up the inside of turn 4. Flying through 5, 6 and 7. This is where the dirty air starts to have an effect on the car. There's the Ferrari of Griggs heading through turn 8. And Crow Nexus just trying to put some pressure on Sergey here. And as we head through towards turns 9 and 10, Nexus here might not try and move. He does lock up that front left tyre, though. That won't help his exit here. And the OG is looking ominously on. Here comes Crow Nexus, though. Will he try and move up the inside into turn 11? He will. Inside line. And Crow Nexus there makes the move on Sergey, who may not have warmed up the tyres just yet. So Crow Nexus takes full advantage. And up into P6 he goes. Here we see Viper here trying to close in on Dan the Snake. Meanwhile, Sergey will be well in DRS zone here. Demon setting the fast lap of the race, 130.2 on a set of medium tyres. Finally got some clear air. And we head down the start-finish straight now with Sergey trying to chase down Nexus. The OG trying to chase down Sergey here. Here comes Sergey. You can see Crow Nexus trying to go defensive, and Sergey tried to go for the gap that wasn't there. Maybe that was a bit of a dummy to try and throw Crow Nexus off his braking point. But either way, Sergey, there was just not the gap there. Good defending from Crow Nexus there. So Sergey will just have to keep battling. And as you can see, Crow Nexus taking the inside line for turn 4, that defensive line. And we're going to have a ride on board with Pitmat for a bit, because he's only 2 tenths behind Shawnee B as they fly towards 7, 8 and 9. We'll keep an eye on that battle between Crow Nexus and the OG. But you can see Roadhouse there right behind them. Now we're back on board with this battle between Crow Nexus, Sergey, OG and Dan the Snake, with Viper close behind. You can see there Crow Nexus locking up into turn 10 there. And here comes Sergey with the DRS then. Will he try and move now up the inside towards turn 11? He thinks about it. Crow Nexus defends that inside line. Very late move, but he did defend it. And Sergey here will have to try and find another way past. Crow Nexus making that defensive move, holding on to P6 for as long as he can. And he's up the inside here. And that is Crow Nexus making a mistake. And he's lost 2 positions now on the entrance of turn 13. The OG is now up to P7. Here comes Dan the Snake then, looking up the inside of Crow Nexus. But a big mistake there from Crow Nexus at a crucial point. And he's down now 2 positions. He will have DRS, but this opens up an opportunity for the OG to try and have a move on Sergey here. As we head towards turn 1 then. Here's an angle. Sergey tries to go up the inside there, or defending the inside, and Crow Nexus, you can see there, overcooked it. And now he has to rejoin, and a little bit of contact made with Viper. And, well, I think he's lost his cool a little bit. He locked up going into turn 1 there. And Dan the Snake, meanwhile, tried to have a look up the inside of the OG. Well, Crow Nexus just got to compose himself now. He's made a couple of mistakes so far. But all is not lost. We still have just over, or just under half this race to go. Meanwhile, off camera, Demon has made his way past Solid Ninja Snake, who hasn't stopped just yet. The only 2 left to stop are IO Champ and Solid Ninja Snake. So we'll keep an eye on when they pit in. It gives us an idea of how long the medium tyres last, especially in these race conditions then. Dan the Snake is currently P7 and trying to fly his way uphill towards turn 13 now. Crow Nexus there seems to have gathered himself a little bit more. 8th place now, calmed down a little bit, and looking to once again attack. You can just have one of those laps. I've had one of those laps before where nothing goes right in that lap. You just have to recompose yourself, get back on it, get your head back in the game. And funnily enough, Jeff helped me out in that situation. We've got Elite Game Boy here joining this battle now. He's behind Viper as Pitmat sets the fast lap of the race, 129.7. And you can see there, Elite Game Boy closed up now onto this pack. The next one to do that will be Pitmat, if he can try and close the gap down enough. Meanwhile then, in this battle, we've got Down the Snake here, closing in on the OG. And coming around turn 4 now, we once again make our way downhill. And this race has been so exciting, I haven't had a chance to run through all of the drivers yet. There hasn't been a gap for me to do that. That's how exciting this race has been. There's always something going on. And we see this lovely helicopter camera of this battle for 5th place, running all the way down to P10. 6 cars involved, and that could be 7 once Pitmat comes along. Could have an opportunity here to make some positions up if he is selective about his moves. As they fly now down towards turn 11, and then they're going to go up the hill all the way. Lap 16 of this Grand Prix. Champ has the lead for the moment. And as we head onto the start-finish straight, I wonder how long that's going to last here. Demon here. It won't last too long, actually, because Champ comes into the pits. So Demon then retakes the lead of the race on lap 17 of this Grand Prix. 13 laps to go. And you can see Champ there did 16 laps on those medium tyres. And meanwhile, Solid Ninja Snake has stayed out on those medium tyres. So interesting call there. Elite Game Boy here is only 2 tenths behind Viper here. Here he comes. Will he make a move down the inside towards turn 1? He will think about it. He'll definitely make the move, will he? Up the inside. Viper gives him the room. And in return, Elite Game Boy gives him the room on the inside of turn 2 and through turn 3. That is Viper there getting the upper hand. But Elite Game Boy is not done yet there. So Elite Game Boy here trying to find... When you're behind a driver like this, you start to assess all the weak points of the driver. You start to assess where they're weakest at, where they're strongest at, and where you can try and make a move. And that's what Down the Snake has been doing to the OG for a couple of laps now. He's stuck with him, but hasn't really been able to make a move just yet. We see the Mercedes of Crow Nexus here. Back up to P7 with Champ pitting in, of course. And as we head up the hill once again, Down the Snake, now 6 tenths behind the OG. Crow Nexus is 8 tenths behind Down the Snake. And you can see these guys are not very far away from each other at all. Roadhouse, meanwhile, closing in on Shawnee B. You can see that in the background there as they head through turn 13. We're, meanwhile, heading down towards turn 14. And car number 45 of Viper here trying to close in on Crow Nexus. Solid Ninja Snake pits in with 17 lap old medium tyres. Presumably to go onto a set of soft tyres, just like Champ did. And here comes Viper here. Tried to put Crow Nexus under a little bit of pressure here. And Crow Nexus did lock up a little bit, but I don't think it was too much of a lock up that would prevent him from taking that corner right. But Roadhouse here, meanwhile, is trying to close up on Shawnee B. As Lakitu gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that'll be added to the end of his race. He's currently in P13, trying to chase down Champ. Viper here, trying to close in on Crow Nexus. And you can see here, really closed up to the back of Crow Nexus here. 12 laps to go in this one. And here we go then, Crow Nexus. Oh, Viper missed his braking point there, locked up, and he's lost 2 positions. He's having to battle Shawnee B then as we head out of turn 10. As I said, turn 10 is so difficult to get right. And Viper there finds himself down to P9 behind Pitmat. And that's all it'll take to lose a couple of positions there. Turn 10 has claimed another victim. So Viper here has got a bit to do now. Pitmat has gone through on younger medium tyres, so that's gone exactly to plan for Pitmat to clear Viper. He's got Elite Game Boy ahead of him. And looking to try and close that gap then. Down the Snake, meanwhile, still trying to eye up the OG here. Look at that battle behind then. Here comes the Red Bull of Elite Game Boy down the inside of Crow Nexus. He's got the inside line. Crow Nexus will try the cutback here into turn 2. Try and get a better exit through turn 3. But Elite Game Boy here just now going defensive. Look at that. The 2 Mercedes using each other as a little bit of a tow here. Crow Nexus can't try and find that gap though. But meanwhile, Pitmat's trying to go around the outside of his teammate. Door slams shut. And Crow Nexus not willing to let his teammate have that advantage. Slams the door shut. Crow Nexus holds on to P7. As you can see here, Pit Matt is just trying to focus on his exits here. And what you don't want this early on in the season is two teammates at each other's necks. But as long as they keep it clean, they should be okay. Elite Game Boy there getting a little bit out of shape out of turn 10 there. Doesn't cost him a lot of time though. As we fly towards turn 11 once again. Elite Game Boy still in P6 then. Chrome Nexus not willing to give his teammate the edge. But Elite Gamer then up into P6. His next target is down the snake. There's the Roadhouse trying to close in on Sean B. And as you can see, the field is pretty close together. If you discount the leader of the race. 10 laps to go for Demon. 8.3 ahead of Griggs. Down the snake meanwhile. Still trying to eye up the OG here. Pit Matt meanwhile is trying to have a good battle here with his teammate. And will he try and move up the inside? No, he won't. Crow Nexus just about placing his car in the right spot. But Pit Matt, I think, was a little bit too far back to try and have a move then. Meanwhile, down the snake still trying to eye up the OG here. This is for P4. And down the snake here, just trying to take his time. And meanwhile, then the teammates are battling again. And Crow Nexus loses out to Pit Matt this time. He drops to P8. Pit Matt up into P7. So Crow Nexus down to P8 then after that battle. But will he be able to stick with his teammate, or will he start to fall back? He might have already fallen into the clutches of Viper here. As we head towards turn 10. Crow Nexus locking up a little bit once again. Viper here trying to close in as much as he can now. He knows Crow Nexus is struggling out there. On 12 lap medium tyres. He's got to take those tyres another 10 laps. Now we saw the Roadhouse, the solid Ninja Snake, take those tyres 18 laps. And at the moment, Crow Nexus will be taking those tyres to 22 laps. So that's going to be a tough ask for him. Meanwhile then, the Roadhouse closing in on Shawnee B once again. He just seems to not be able to close the gap fully. There seems to be some parts of the track where Shawnee B is quicker, other parts Roadhouse is, and when you add that all up, it adds up to around about the same pace here. Mighty Bucket though on the back of Lakitu as we head down the start finish straight. Here comes the Mighty Bucket then down the inside with that DRS, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit of an easy move there for the Mighty Bucket. We're going to go up, jump on board with Crow Nexus and Viper, who are battling away for position. Oh, they've made contact into the wall. Viper is out, and Crow Nexus spins the car around, rejoins the track. And they look like they just got hooked on each other. Viper out of this Grand Prix then. And how much front wing damage is there on Crow Nexus? He's got to limp all the way back to the pits if there is damage. But drama between those two. And he has got damage because there goes the Mighty Bucket round the outside. There goes the Lakitu. And there goes Solid Ninja Snake. And you can see front left-hand side of that front wing has taken quite a bit of damage. So the Mercedes driver, well, barring a safety car, will be well and truly outside of the points. Pit Matt here, without his teammate behind him, now has to challenge Elite Game Boy. And of course, that puts IGO-Champ up into the points now. He's trying to chase down the Roadhouse. And of course, IGO-Champ is on the soft tyres, which are supposedly the better and faster tyres. So we'll have to see how well his tyres can go then. And Solid Ninja Snake, meanwhile, trying to close in on Lakitu. And already you can see up ahead the Mighty Bucket going defensive, just trying to break that slipstream between himself and Lakitu. Of course, Lakitu will have DRS on the Mighty Bucket, so we'll have to see how that pans out then. Here comes Solid Ninja Snake then. In that DRS, we've seen a move for Pit Matt there. That is Solid Ninja Snake trying to go down the inside of Lakitu then. And has he made that move stick? They both lock up. Little bit of contact. I think I heard something there. Not entirely sure though. However, Lakitu holds on then. Pit Matt makes the move on Elite Game Boy. Missed that off screen. However, he is now up into P6 then. And now his next target is down the snake. 1.2 seconds behind. Right up the road. He can basically see him. He's within touching distance. Meanwhile, the Roadhouse has spent all these laps trying to close in on Shawnee B. Battle for 8th place now. This could be his chance. He's got a DRS zone coming up after turn 10. And a little bit of lock-up from both drivers. As we head out of the corner then of turn 10. The Roadhouse here. That was probably his best chance, but he hasn't quite closed in enough though. as Shawnee B holds on to P8, doing a good job defending at the moment. Down the Snake, meanwhile, trying to close in on the OG. Down the Snake in P5, trying to take away the OG's P4 at the moment. Well, Demon here is started lap 23. We have 7 laps to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Demon, the gap between himself and Griggs is 9.5 seconds at the moment. The Roadhouse, meanwhile, trying to optimise his exit. You can see now he's into mode 4 with only around about 30% of the battery. It's going down faster than I could speak right now. The Roadhouse, could this be the move he's finally been waiting for as they head down towards turn 1? Shawnee B trying to hold the inside line. Roadhouse will try and cut back, but Shawnee B holds on for now. Roadhouse gets a much better exit out of turn 2. Shawnee B goes defensive towards turn 4. And he's going to try and close that gap. No, he's not. He's taking that defensive line up the inside. You can see the Roadhouse thought about that. Trying to make the cutback now as we head now down the hill. Shawnee B, I think, has just about held on there. Good driving from the two of them. Good defensive work from Shawnee B. And good pressure there from Roadhouse. But it's not over yet as they head towards turn 8. And the more they battle, the more they're drawing in Igo Champ here. Heading up towards turn 9. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 9. And that could end in disaster. That could end in tears. Igo Champ there was ready to take advantage. A little bit of loss of back end there from the Roadhouse as we head out of turn 10. And as you can see, Shawnee B trying to take a defensive line. Wanted to, but they're going to try and make it 3 wide. Going through turn 11. Igo Champ now has to back out of that one. That is not happening. But as you can see, the Roadhouse is struggling here. But Igo Champ has taken full advantage, and he's gone up the inside of Roadhouse and taken the position away. Now, Igo Champ here could get 2 positions in the space of a lap. Look at this, Sean B trying to go ultra defensive here. But I don't think it's worked against Igo Champ, as Igo Champ slips through and takes 8th place. Great driving from Igo Champ. Very opportunistic, and it's worked for him. Here comes the Roadhouse, though. He's not done with Sean B. Down the straight they go towards turn 1. And they could be drawing in Igo Champ. Igo Champ goes defensive as well. As Shawnee B there tries to go around the outside of turn 1, given the inside line for turn 2. And that's where you want to be. And Sean B defends well there against the Roadhouse. This is a 3-way battle that could last to the end of the race if we're lucky. But at the moment, though, Igo Champ needs to take advantage of this. He needs to start pushing and needs to start building a gap between these two. If he can get those two to squabble and battle away, then there's a good chance he'll pull away. At the moment, though, Roadhouse has made less progress by trying to attack as Crow Nexus sets the fastest lap of the race. We've got Pitmat then riding on board with him as he's chasing down the Snake. And coming towards turn 11 now. Up the hill we go. Look at this then. We've got a great battle on our hands here. The battle for 5th involving 3 drivers. Down the Snake, Pitmat. Sorry, the battle for 4th place. My apologies. The OG, Down the Snake, Pitmat and Elite Game Boy. Then we've got the battle for P9 involving these 3 drivers. But as you can see, that is Igo Champ building a gap. But again, I don't think he's too far away, or that far away, that he's out of DRS zone. Elite Game Boy, though, will try and take full advantage of the DRS as he closes in on Pitmat here. And will he try and make a move? No, he won't. They stay single file for turn 1. And as we head through turns 2 and 3, they stay pretty much in formation for that one. Meanwhile then, Igo Champ still only half a second up the road from Shawnee B. He's not pulling away as much as he would like, that's for sure. And meanwhile then, Down the Snake was right on the gearbox there of the OG, but couldn't quite make anything happen. Always difficult to do before turn 5. And as we head towards turn 8 there, you might have another chance down the DRS straight though. Always frustrating when you're behind a driver for that long, but he hasn't made any audacious moves just yet. We're riding on board then with the Mighty Bucket as he heads towards turn 9 and turn 10. This has now turned into a 4-way battle for 8th place. Mighty Bucket has just kept his head down, setting those lap times, and has now closed up to the back of that battle for P8. There is as well the Force India of Nikita, I believe that is. So Solid Ninja Snake is there running as well, right behind them. And Nikita is closing in as well. So these guys, if they still keep battling, they're going to draw in more and more of those drivers behind them in what will be a battle for the points. And as you can see, Mighty Bucket has already closed up to the Roadhouse. And the Roadhouse here, after trying to battle with Sean B, could be losing out on a points paying position altogether. With 4 laps to go. He's got to defend here from the Red Bull of the Mighty Bucket. Pit map, meanwhile, closing on down the snake as we head towards turn 4. And once again, they just stay in formation for now. No one wants to make that move just yet. They want to leave it as late as possible with the DRS. Especially down that long straight, because that is where a race can be won or lost, and that's where podiums can be won or lost as well. So they're all trying to play a similar game and trying to be the car second in the queue at the latest possible moment so that they have the run of the DRS. Pit Matt, though, I don't think he's going to wait for that opportunity, as he's right behind Down the Snake. Down the Snake getting a little bit tail happy on the exit of turn 10 as we head towards turn 11 now. And Pit Matt here, just keeping that car under control for now in the dirty air. Doing a good job so far. But he hasn't got long left to try and make a move on Down the Snake. And Down the Snake hasn't got long left to make a move on the OG. But here comes Pit Matt, though, in the slipstream. And will he have a move going into turn 14? He won't. But he'll try and optimise his exit then. As we head now down the DRS straight. Will he try and have a move down the inside of turn 1? He's certainly got the slipstream range. That's Down the Snake going defensive. Pit Matt has to go round the outside of turn 1. That will give him the inside line of turn 2 if he can make that stick. But there you go. Down the Snake slams that door shut. Not letting Pit Matt get his nose in. And Pit Matt here has to go now defensive from the car behind him. That is Elite Game Boy. And he does go defensive. And loses that back end slightly here, as he's pushing those tyres as hard as he possibly can. Meanwhile, there's a battle here for P9. And Roadhouse has made the move on Sean B. And meanwhile, that is the Red Bull of the Mighty Bucket now, who could try and make a move on Sean B. Darts down the inside, but backs out of it. Half-hearted attempt there at an overtake. And, well, he has to back out of it. But he is showing his threat, showing the danger to these two. They have to keep their cool and keep that car behind them, because that is the battle for a lone point there between Sean B and the Mighty Bucket. And the Mighty Bucket here needs to try and build that gap as well. Elite Game Boy then coming through turn 13, riding on board with him as the OG starts to try and pull away a little bit, as we see the Alfa Romeo Sauber of Igo Champ running slightly wide out of turn 13, but won't affect him too much. He is on the soft tyre though, so keep an eye on that gap between him and Elite Game Boy. If these guys are battling, he might start to close in rapidly. 2 laps to go here in Bahrain. As we see now, these guys just seem to be following each other, one behind each other for now. None of them really want to make the big move. Here comes this is the Mighty Bucket then we're riding on board with. Sean B runs too deep. The Roadhouse has the track position, does he? Sean B goes up the inside of turn 2. He's lost the back end. Into the wall he goes. And Sean is out of the race. Lost it on the curb of turn 2. And that is his day well and truly over. So that battle now goes down because the Mighty Bucket's taken full advantage. He's now ahead of the Roadhouse up into P9. 2.5 behind the next car. A lot to do in 2 laps, however, it's not impossible. We ride aboard with Elite Game Boy now, DRS zone, as we head now down towards turn 11. And as we head towards the closing stages of this race, who's going to give it all or nothing? This battle here for P4 has to end in about a lap and a half's time, but who will be taking that P4 position? At the moment, the OG looks comfortable in P4. There's Demon then, starting the final lap of this Bahrain Grand Prix. And sometimes they say if you don't get much coverage in a Formula 1 race, you're not doing a lot wrong. Well, you're either at the front of the field, leading all the way, or you're at the back of the field. So, take that as you will. Here comes Sergey on Griggs here, round the outside. And Griggs here has to defend from Sergey here. Sergey's now up the inside for turn 2. And Griggs has the inside for turn 3. They're going to be side by side now as they head towards turn 4. Battle for second place in this race then. Here they come now, down towards turn 4. And Griggs there has the position, loses that back end though. And here comes Sergey. Will they go side by side through turn 5? Yes, they will. That is Sergey who has the inside line for turn 5. Griggs can't get the inside for turn 6. And Sergey moves up into P2. Griggs there will keep the pressure on though, as we see the battle behind them for P4. Elite Game Boy is right behind now. He is right behind down the snake. But Igo Champ doesn't seem to be closing in too quickly at the moment. Pitmat there, just trying to get his braking zone right. Well, Demon here has not done a lot wrong at all. He's had a pretty much flawless race today, and go that with qualifying as well. He comes around the final corner then. Demon will come towards the line. He wins round 2 of the AOR Hype F3 League. Sergey, it might hold on to finish second there. We're going to have a look here because Igo Champ has found a way past Elite Game Boy. I said he was out of it earlier, but Elite Game Boy must have made some sort of mistake with Dan the Snake here. And does Dan the Snake have damage? I don't know. He does have damage. So Elite Game Boy and Dan the Snake must have got caught up here. Here they go. It's going to be a drag race towards the line. Who's going to take position? Dan the Snake does. P6 for him. And Igo Champ takes P7. Well, Pitmat there took P5 with the OG in front of him, P4. Griggs rounded off the podium there. We had Igo Champ P7, Game Boy 8th, Mighty Bucket in 9th there. Roadhouse taking the final points for McLaren. Solid Ninja Snake in 11th. Lakitu there in P12. Crow Nexus running wide at the final few corners. Gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. And Igo Champ finished 0.07 of a second behind Dan the Snake there. Crow Nexus rounding the final corner now as he heads towards the line. And he will get that last finishing position on the lead lap. Well, what a race we had there for the Bahrain Grand Prix. But your race winner today is Demon. Well, I told you that Bahrain always delivers in league races. And it once again has delivered exactly that. Demon takes the win here in Bahrain. So then, your official, unofficial results for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Demon wins the race with Sergey in 2nd, Griggs is in 3rd, the OG in 4th, Pitmat in 5th, Dan the Snake 6th, Igo Champ in P7, Elite Game Boy in 8th, Mighty Bucket in 9th, Roadhouse in 10th, Solid Ninja Snake in 11th, Lakitu in 12th, Crow Nexus 13th as the last of the finishers. Sean B, Viper, Jammy James and Alex Musica did not finish the race. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight. I think it went a lot better than the last one. Absolutely. Great action here today. Bahrain, as I said, always provides that brilliant racing. Let me know your driver of the day as we head back to the lobby. Will be fantastic to know. And how did your favourite driver get on? Always love to know those ones. As we head back to the lobby now, it's a chance to just unwind about a race we've just seen. Well, it was a pretty good race, I have to say. Pretty dominant from our race winner today. Great last lap battle between 2nd and 3rd place there. It's been an absolutely fantastic race. I know I keep saying it, but it really was. But that is where we end the stream. So thank you all very much for watching. You've been watching this fantastic AOR Hype Energy F3 League race. Round 3 will take us to the Chinese Grand Prix. So I do hope you can join us for then, which I believe is next week. So same time, same place, and we will hopefully see you there. Until the Chinese Grand Prix though, I've been Kieran McGinley. You've been watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.